urge Florentino Perez to try and watch Real Madrid every week and then not be surprised by the way they played, because they've not been playing well.
No.
They've been getting enough results, and for a long time Ancelotti kept the same side, and then, you know, almost consistently, it wasn't quite almost the same 11, but it was pretty much close for a while. Then you thought, well, he had to give Modric a rest, and, you know, Marcelo comes in, he was creaking at the weekend against Villarreal, there was no way he could have played. So it is, you know, the job that Ancelotti's doing there, with the problems that they had, they were not as big a problems as Barcelona, but they still lost Varane and Ramos and all the other sort of issues. It's been a pretty good job. There should be no surprise that they went there and really performed the way that they did. Talk to us when the second leg's done.
Right.
Talk to us when, you know, if Real Madrid are out, and say, well, we're disappointed. But they've not been playing brilliantly for a good, well, even before the small winter break, they were not playing.
No.
Getting some results.
There's flashes, but there was
flashes from Vinicius. There was Benzema carrying the team for a long time until he got injured. And then he tried to play Gareth Bale through the middle. And he doesn't fancy Jovic. He's threw Hazard in on the odd occasion. He's searching for something that he might need if Benzema just crumples.
Right.
So the fact that Florentino Perez is saying, oh, this is a disaster, or, you know, we don't play, we are Real Madrid, we play better than that. Try watching him every week.
Tactically, what did he get wrong?
I think he's obviously overdone it leading up to the game with this defensive strategy. There's nothing wrong with when you lose the ball, you get into a 4-5-1 posture. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a fine dividing line, though, when you're coaching between over-emphasising about defending.
Right.
You have to balance it up by repeatedly, every time you say about shape, you go, and when we get it, we open up and play. You have to balance it both ways. You can't just talk about defending, because clearly they talked about it a lot. When they lost the ball, they got into that posture. But for some reason, as experienced as this side pretty much is, it forgot to go forward and couldn't get out.
Is that because they had no outlet, because Benzema wasn't fit?
Listen, I certainly wouldn't say that he was 100% fit, because he's not. But I don't think his fitness had anything to do with this performance. I think you could have stuck Pele or anybody you wanted up front, and they would have failed to get him the ball, because they couldn't string passes to get it out the back. Listen, you've got to give some credit to PSG, by the way.
Yeah. The
one thing we said, that the front three don't defend from the front, well, they did in this game, and that made it really difficult for Madrid. But no, I think it was an attitude problem to start the game that they couldn't pick it up.
Do you agree, Don?
Yeah, I was watching the game, Dan, and I just thought when Benzema wasn't 100% fit, I was watching the midfield players and the amount of times they were trying to play sort of square passes between themselves because they didn't want to either bang it into Benzema's feet or turn PSG around and ask Benzema to run the channel, because he wasn't fit and he was probably petrified that his hamstring might go. So he was trying to sort of ease himself into the game. I think Pochettino is a little bit clever or fortunate, depends how you see it, when Kylian Mbappe works on that left-hand side and he's just an unbelievable player when you watch him. The right side of Real Madrid didn't have enough legs. I felt for Carvajal, because he tried his utmost to try and go 1v1 with him. When Militao come across to put the cover on, he'd done really well. But the midfield player at the three on the right-hand side for Real Madrid was Luka Modric. You can't expect Luka Modric to try and get out to Mbappe and double up against Carvajal. So the writing was on the wall, really. I thought, and it wasn't in hindsight, I thought he probably should have started Valverde, probably had more legs in midfield. But they scored late. I mean, when it was 0-0 towards, 86, 87 minutes, you're thinking, Real Madrid will take this. They'll take a 0-0, and then you'd probably fancy them to beat them in the second leg. But now they've got it all on.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.